Ladies and gentlemen, the Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg welcomes you to this graduation ceremony. Due to security reasons, you are requested not to leave the auditorium before the end of the proceedings. Please note that photos and videos must be taken from your seats. Please do not get up and walk around inside the auditorium. As soon as the procession leaves the auditorium, you are requested to rise and remain standing until the procession and guests of honor have left the auditorium. A kind yet important request. Please only applaud after the student's name has been read out, and only applaud until the student has been capped, in order to give other graduates the opportunity to have an audible readout of their names. Please also note that no whistles are allowed for applause, only clapping of hands and ululating. A final request. If you have a cell phone in your possession, please switch it off or put it on silent. Ladies and gentlemen, the procession will now enter the auditorium. You are requested to rise and remain standing until the members of the procession have taken their seats.
Shukona Dumelang. Dumelang. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sanibonani. Goeiedag, dames en heren. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now constitute this meeting as a lawful congregation of the University of Johannesburg. Ile ge ke hlompha matla go ke filwe wona, bjale ke thea phutheho ye go ba ya semolao University ya Johannesburg. You may please be seated.
Good evening, everyone. Every time I have an opportunity, I always say to Sizwe, please don't let the choir leave. I need to speak up a little bit about you and brag a little bit about you. Honored guests this evening, I'm sure that you will agree with me when I say that our choir is just absolutely amazing. But what's critically important is that we are not the only ones who think so. Almost every competition that they enter, our choir does not win one award or two, they win numerous awards. And I don't know if you watch my face, maybe you didn't, but every time they begin singing, I have the biggest and brightest smile on my face. You are an absolute UJ treasure, and we value you. Can we give them another round of applause, please? Thank you so much. Chancellor, council members present, and we are honored to have 3 council members present this evening. We have Professor Strydom, Mr. Mogoro, and Dr. Rashid, who are part of our council. We also have a special welcome to our previous chair of council. We are honored to have Mr. Mike Teke as part of the procession this evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It means so much to us that you took out of your valuable time to join us. The Executive Dean, Professor Anna Motete of the Faculty of Science, members of Senate and academics, graduates, guests. On behalf of the Council, the Executive Leadership Group, and the staff of the University of Johannesburg, I welcome all our graduates and guests to this graduation ceremony. Graduates, today is a momentous occasion for you and your loved ones. Your achievement is worthy of celebration regardless of where you are or what the future holds for you. Our Chancellor, Dr. Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka, has on various occasions reflected on the transformative power of education in creating opportunities and in furthering societal development. In the context of our nation, your accomplishment carries considerable weight. Many of you are first-generation graduates, making this achievement even more significant. Your graduation represents the dreams of many, including those who supported you. It symbolizes hope for a new generation. The University of Johannesburg, established in 2005 as part of the post-apartheid transformation of South Africa's higher education landscape, has rapidly emerged as a beacon of academic excellence and innovation. In just 2 decades, which means 2025 is our 20-year celebration, can we give UJ a round of applause? In just 2 decades, our university has achieved remarkable milestones, including securing prominent positions in global university rankings, a testament to its commitment to quality education and research. With an unwavering focus on shaping a better future, UJ has adopted its Strategic Plan 2035, which emphasizes societal impact and sustainability, global engagement, and the integration of technologies for the future. The visionary approach underscores the university's dedication to driving sustainable development and equipping graduates to thrive in a rapidly evolving world. Amid today's celebrations, remember that you are among the fortunate few to have this opportunity. Your graduation, therefore, carries the promise that you will share your knowledge to enrich and deepen our democracy. It serves as a reminder of our nation's shortcomings and provides us with the tools to address these shortcomings for the betterment of society. Our university has been leading in the field of digital transformation. UJ was the first South African university to award certificates secured by blockchain technology. Graduates, you also have access to our digital certificate system, where you can download your digital certificate free of charge. The system further gives you access to a personalized digital badge, which you can place on LinkedIn in securely showcasing your achievement. We also welcome you as a new member of our global alumni community. On the Alumni Connect platform, you can connect with other graduates, view employment offerings, and connect with possible mentors. In conclusion, congratulations on this significant achievement. We look forward to cheering you on as you explore new paths and vistas. Thank you. Rialeboga, siyabonga, baie dankie. Chancellor, I now request the Executive Dean to introduce the Faculty of Science and thereafter the candidates who have complied with all the requirements for the respective qualifications.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the Faculty of Science. The Faculty of Science stands at the forefront of scientific innovation and technological advancement. With state-of-the-art teaching and research facilities, a distinguished academic staff, and high-caliber undergraduate and postgraduate programs, we are committed to delivering an education that is transformative. Through an innovative and aspiring decolonized curriculum, we place students at the center of learning, equipping them with the skills to navigate and lead in an ever-evolving global landscape. The Faculty of Science is a home to South Africa's first accredited computer science and informatics degrees by the United Kingdom-based British Computer Society, also known as the Chartered Institute. Our expertise in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence is internationally recognized, with our researchers ranking among the top 1% of computer scientists and the top 5% in cybersecurity worldwide. Through initiatives like the Center for Cybersecurity and the Salient Pattern AI Research Center, we collaborate with esteemed institutions, including Oxford University, Emory University, and the State Security Agency to drive innovation in digital security and AI technologies. Our impact extends across the sciences, addressing global challenges through cutting-edge research in health, drug discovery, green technology, food security, and genomics. Our faculty leads groundbreaking initiatives in biotechnology, from identifying novel bacterial species to pioneering 3D footprinting and sustainable food solutions. Innovation for biodiversity and food security is a core pillar of our research, ensuring that science not only advances knowledge, but also secures the future of our planet. In chemistry, we craft solutions for a sustainable future, decoding matter, transforming possibilities, and driving innovation in materials science. Geology and earth sciences within our faculty explore the origins of life and the formation of our planet. Our researchers travel to Antarctica to study its ancient connection to South Africa and trace the dispersal of sediment across the supercontinent Rodinia. Closer to home, we focus on sustainable resource use, identifying rare metals crucial for green energy while minimizing environmental impact. Geography and environmental management bridge the gap between natural and human systems, leveraging advanced technologies to tackle climate change, land degradation, biodiversity loss, and social inequalities. Preserving nature, enhancing nutrition, and everything in between, that's what we stand for. In energy studies, our researchers employ fourth industrial revolution technologies to develop sustainable, accessible, and reliable energy solutions aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In mathematics, we shape the future one equation at a time. Blending theoretical insight with real-world applications, our world-class programs in research spanning actuarial science, statistics, and applied mathematics equip graduates with the expertise to drive innovation across industries. We are proud to offer actuarial science degrees accredited by the Actuarial Society of South Africa with groundbreaking initiatives in experiential and trauma-informed actuarial education. Many of our actuarial students, often first-generation university graduates, are excelling in leading financial and insurance sectors. Physics remains the foundation of understanding our universe, from undergraduate programs covering engineering, health sciences, and geophysics, to postgraduate research in astrophysics, nuclear and particle physics, condensed matter, and nanoscience. Our faculty continues to push scientific frontiers, working alongside global collaborators. Our environmental and biological scientists contribute significantly to global ecological and conservation efforts. We co-host an international exchange program with the University of Hong Kong, enhancing experience in marine, terrestrial, and freshwater ecology. Our researchers in aquatic toxicology and conservation genetics are internationally acclaimed. And in 2024, our paleontologists made history by describing the first Neobatrachian frog at the cradle of humankind. Where botany meets biotechnology for a greener, sustainable tomorrow is not just a vision. It is our commitment to pioneering solutions that sustain life on earth. At the Faculty of Science, our mission is clear: to challenge existing knowledge, to accelerate discovery, and to redefine what is possible. We foster an environment where curiosity thrives, where the impossible becomes achievable, and where our students and staff push the boundaries of human understanding. Together, we are rooted in research, branching into impact, and making a flourishing planet. I thank you. Kia leboga, ngiyabonga, baie dankie. Chancellor, I now introduce to you the candidates who complied with all the requirements for the respective qualification in order for you to confer or award such qualifications.
Vested in me, I will now confer and award the respective qualifications on the candidates introduced to me by the Executive Dean and to the candidates who are absent but who have complied with all the requirements for the qualifications. Ele ge ke hlompha matla ho filwe ho ona, yale ke tla fa baithuti bao ke ba tsebisitswego ke motekone ho tiile baithuti bao ba se ho hona dikala tseo di ba lebanago, bona bao ba fitlheletse dinyakwa ka moka tša dikala.
Chancellor, I present the following candidates who are awarded diploma. Lloyd Richard Bordeaux Xavier. Buisiwe Hope Koka. Indipile Dielvan. Happiness Kagiso Hood. Samuel Lusinga Capitayo. To Pauline Junior Hopani with distinction. Sekofatso Khosi Tile. Simangele Kumalo. Catherine Levelani. Karabo Litsilana with distinction. Emaresia Ndombi Lubisi. Refile Matpukwa. Nomfundo Magreth Mafu. Gugu Trudy Masangu. Khumotso Ntadi Malope. Thank you. Satawani Claudette Maluleke. Babazile Loshia Masambuka. Nompumelelo Thando Mbonani. Sihle Ashmont Mdiniza with distinction. Tlholego Beauty Moganedi. Mohlago Khumotso Desri Mohale. Patience Duduzile Mtweni with distinction. Nchindisho Ndebele. Batabile Ngeleni. Linda Guhle Precious Nhleko. Takatso McDonald Nkosi. Kutlano Mabel Sepeng. Yolanda Standiwe Shezi. Sinande Afuzwa Sonjika. Dakalo Chikota. Kasti Chokwe. Chancellor, I present the following candidates who are awarded the advanced diploma. Smangele Nosiza Dialwani. Asitandile Hlatikulu. Thelma Kadira Mwando. Poncho Edgar Khanyago. Maria Karabo Lesingeho. Malukela Moses Makadi. Musa Manar Venus Masemola with distinction. Notando Princess Mdluli. Tabang Aaron Msiza. Lucky Ntsako Ngubeni with distinction. Mamukiti Nkadimeng with distinction. Fuisile Rodriguez Sibanda. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science on the following candidates. Kabore Billy Finto. Nicole Chidima Brown. Yolisa Dumizweni. Siboniso Lungile Kalela. Kagiso Ghana. Or is it? Lerato Samuel Kiba. Lishohonolo Lyndon Lisingeho. Sahil Maharaj. Teboto Jason Mailula. Kolani Sifiso Makukune. Khonipo Precious Manganye. Jackson Boy Maponya. Koketso Bakwena Matole. Amanda Michelle Mayezana. Nomatamsanga Rebecca Mbanye. Riboningo Rulani Mkanzi. Mtsendisi Sanele Mlojwa. Ramatate Khumutso Mokoni. Kutlwano Tulufelo Munaunwa. Tuso Dodo Munke. Talia Moses. Lerato Motaung. Nkosana Motaung. Moaga Isi Moklodi. Tumiso Tshepang Motsoeneng. Thabo Moya. Tumelo Mpela. Philelo Mpakha. Night Blessing Mpande. Abongile Mteshane. Sipho Mthembu. Wandile Sakhile Mthethwa. Shikomborero Rodney Mugwara. Vukudu Jessica Mukwedi. Tisani Elsie Muhlaba. Chiriro Raymond Murauzi. Laveshan Munsami. Daryl Kuzai Murenga. Murembiwa Christina Mutswale Tswale. Nelisiwes Netemba Mzobe. Boniwe Perrin Netelo. Vusimusi Ndaba. Sifiso Ndlovu. Spelele Ndiaza. Kensani Ndlangamanda. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lungile Ndlovu. Happiness Alia Ndubani. Philani Bongani Ndwandwe. Emihle Ndulu. Murendi wa Sherry Nemarivoni. Redikunda Nechisahulu. Farelo Leslie Nechishumbewa. Vutuhawe, thank you. Vutuhawe Titos Newari. Wendy Takani Nkubeni. Puseleto Prudence Nkhahle. Rabetswe Mafuji Nkwana. Ntabezinhle Nkosi. Lungile Nokuyela. Siyabonga Nochuku. Okuhle Ntekana. Kiatlegile Celia Ntiye. Tarisani Ngumalo. Zakele Magic Regaza. Sandile Sambo. Uviwe Sinelisiwe Sitebeti. Muyumba Volti with distinction. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Commerce Honors on the following candidates. Roger Aaron Mutangadura. Karabo Robert Sitole. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science Honors on the following candidates. Ilka Ukemp with distinction. Shivani Chetty with distinction. Grace Chota. Mlungisi Emmanuel Danisa. Nokukanya Pumla Dlamini. Tembelihle Kenneth Dlamini. Pendo Laura Luvengo Divani with distinction. Gea. Pumla Nelisiwe Gea with distinction. Matsuyeho Pel Gegana. Nolwazi Patricia Kumalo with distinction. Kamuhelo Alex Kobedi. Palisa Mabocha with distinction. Ntokozo Victoria Matu. Sindizwa Clementine Mahlangu with distinction. Prashna Makan. Ndamulelo Natasha Maleka. Sipesihle Manzini. Motlapele Rose Matunya. Azanda Albeka Mavose. Polisi Mavuso with distinction. Nokutula Mbele. Samkelisiwe Tenele Mkabela with distinction. Amahle Awetu Mkwango with distinction. Fepan Kirsten Mulwele. Lesejo Mosweu. Pumzile Nomvula Mcilingwa. Munyarazi Donald Muregerera. Kon A. Makong Lis. Muteb. Teza Kathy Mutumuni with distinction. Urandizi Cheryl Mugumbe. Sibenele Portia Nziako. Guguletu Prudence Ndima. Sandile Ntloko. Senzo Ntsele, Dumelo Pasha. Johannes Tebuko Ramutopo Rapotle. Tabo Sikwe. Tandi Precious Shongwe with distinction. Hi. Wandile Mpumelelo Sikakani. Uitumelo Temana with distinction. Matembela Arija Chikshaku. Ralpha Manita Ubisi with distinction. Lungelwa Zweni. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Dane Henry Lang, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree Doctor in Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis. Thank you. With a thesis entitled A South African Model for Smart Key and Fingerprint Recognition-Based Vehicle Access Control, prepared under the supervision of Professor Dustin van der Haar. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor. In his doctoral study, Mr. Lang set out to provide a secure alternative to modern vehicle access control models. He found that there was a lack of existing works that could inform the correct approach for vehicle access control deployment in a developing country, necessitating the distribution of a survey to collect the data in South Africa. The survey results and study into related work showed a combination of fingerprint recognition, driver license information, and a smart key was the most appropriate choice for securing both a vehicle's ignition and doors. These three factors were used to create VSEC, an alternative model for vehicle access control, condense an approach for optimizing a fingerprint reclassification, convolutional neural network accuracy for use in VSEC, and the VSEC prototype, which showed that a physical implementation of VSEC is feasible. The candidate has presented his work at 2 international conferences. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
Is it Lang or Lang? Lang. Okay. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Computer Science on Dane Henry Lang.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Faith Ruth Hilda Lekota, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Doctor in Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis entitled A CSIRF, an Aviation Cybersecurity Incident Response Framework, prepared under the supervision of Professor M. Coutier and co-supervision of Professor Dustin van der Haar. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor. In her doctoral study, Ms. Faith Lakota identified key cybersecurity challenges for aviation ICT systems, coupled with the absence of incident response frameworks. While existing international cybersecurity frameworks address incident response guidelines, they do not address the unique challenges of the aviation sector. The Aviation Cybersecurity Incident Response Framework, the ACSIRF, was developed to assist stakeholders to effectively respond to cyber incidents. The framework comprises 3 integral segments: incident response governance and control, aviation cybersecurity incident response management, and incident response networks. The framework is a systematic and structured approach that can provide strategic guidance, governance, and standards. It incorporates various segments, domains, and features to enhance incident response and information sharing among aviation stakeholders. The candidate has presented her work at 1 local and 2 international peer-reviewed accredited conferences and received a first place at a PhD colloquium at the International European Cyber Warfare and Security Conference.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Computer Science on Faith Ruth Hilda Lekota.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Tabakulu Tieho Letsau, who has complied with all requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry with a thesis entitled Effect of Azole Conductive Moieties on Polyphenylene Oxide Anion Exchange Membranes, Properties for Fuel Cell Application, Theoretical and Experimental Study. Prepared under the supervision of Professor P.F. Msomi and the co-supervision of Professor T. Mabuchi from Tohoku University, Japan, and Professor Matsakato Dilingiswe. I now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Letsau's PhD research, funded by the National Research Foundation and the Japan Society for the Promotion of Science, NRF Research Corporate Program, focus on developing polymer electrolyte membranes for fuel cells as a cleaner alternative to coal-based energy. He combined computational chemistry conducted at Tohoku University in Japan with experimental work conducted at the University of Johannesburg to design anion exchange membrane using polyphenylene oxide, azole-based cation side chain, and carbon-based nanomaterial. His membrane achieved a high power output than most reported in literature. His work has significantly contributed to the fuel cell research, resulting in 6 journal articles, 3 published, 3 under review, and a presentation as the Institute of Fluid Science Collaborative Research Forum at Tohoku University in Japan. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophia Doctor in Chemistry on Tabakgolo Diego Letsa.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Feziwe Batabile Mamba, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, with a thesis entitled Nanostructured Biodegradable Membranes for the Removal of Inorganic Pollutants from Water, prepared under the supervision of Professor James Ramunja and co-supervision of Dr. B. Mbuli. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Ms. Mamba's doctoral research focused on the development of biopolymeric membranes derived from agricultural bioproducts, such as orange peels, for water treatment. Specifically, her work addresses the removal of heavy metals and organic dyes from wastewater through sustainable and efficient methods. Her innovative approach integrates biopolymer technology with advanced nanomaterials, emphasizing sustainability and resourcefulness in addressing global water contamination issues. Micropollutants pose serious risks to human health and the environment. Thus, in her doctoral studies, Ms. Mamba focused on the development of novel cellulose carrageenan-based biopolymeric membranes for water treatment. Her work addressed critical issues in water purification, particularly the removal of heavy metals and organic dyes from contaminated water. These membranes achieved 90% efficiency while upholding high water flux and anti-fouling properties. By combining environmental sustainability with advanced scientific methodologies, her research contributed to practical solutions for resource-limited settings. Ms. Mamba has made significant contributions to her field, publishing 2 peer-reviewed journal articles and presenting her work at 3 local conferences and 1 international conference. Her dedication to addressing global water challenges exemplifies her commitment to advancing science and improving public health. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Feziwe Batabile Mamba.
I have the honor of presenting Mulahlegi Orienda Sibabi, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry with a thesis entitled Coal Fly Ash-Based Adsorbents for Water Purification, prepared under the supervision of Professor S.P. Malinga and co-supervision of Professor N. Mabuba and Professor Pillay. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Mrs. Sababi's doctoral research focused on preparing low-cost adsorbents by functionalizing coal fly ash with hyperbranch polyethylene imine. The CFA-HPAI adsorbents were characterized and applied for the adsorption of chromium-6 and for the deactivation of bacteria from water. To avoid secondary environmental pollution, the adsorbent was reused as a photocatalyst to degrade dye from water The adsorbent was further encapsulated in sodium alginate matrix and applied in a fixed bed column setup to remove chromium from real wastewater samples, which are typically applied in full-scale wastewater treatment plants. This study demonstrated the multifunctional properties of the adsorbents as potential adsorbents for the removal of chromium and as antibacterial material for eliminating bacteria and as a photocatalyst, which has the potential to be applied in wastewater treatment plants. This work was presented at an international conference and resulted in one published article and one under review.
Councillor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Molahlegi Orienda Sebabi.
Councillor, I have the honor of presenting Jordan Tonga Lembe, sorry. Thank you. Now I'm lost. Who has complied with all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry with a thesis entitled Hemisynthesis and Biological Activities of Naturally Occurring Heterocycles from two Cameroonian medicinal plants, Studia cameroonensis and Hydodaphnis zenkeri, prepared under the supervision of Professor Ndinte and co-supervision of Dr. Mutlani and Professor Zingwi from University of Yaoundé in Cameroon. I now request the co-supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Mr. Tonga Lembe focused on isolation, structural elucidation, and biological screening of natural products from various parts of selected African medicinal plants to potentially address antimicrobial resistance and treat prostate cancer. 6 bacterial strains responsible for most resistance cases and lethality worldwide, and 8 others were the target of his studies. 3 prostate cancer cell lines were studied alongside normal cells, and minimum inhibitory concentration was used to assess the in vitro potency of the extracts and pure compounds isolated, and MTT-based assays for cancerous cell lines. Active principles from extracts were separated chromatographically, followed by structural elucidation by spectroscopic means. Significant antibacterial and anti-cancer properties were recorded from the extracts and pure isolates. This work was presented at 6 national and international conferences and resulted in 3 journal articles. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Jordan Tonga Lembe.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Hendrik Johannes Carl van der Westhuizen, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis entitled Autonomous Internet of Things Device Maintenance for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, prepared under the supervision of Professor E.M. Ellis and the co-supervision of Professor Duncan Coulter. I now request the co-supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, in his doctoral study, Mr. van der Westhuizen's research investigated biologically inspired anomaly detection methods leading to the development of a novel algorithm incorporating aspects of k-means clustering and negative selection used within an Internet of Things-based system. The IoT-based system, the immune-inspired Phoenix anamnesis model, automatically and dynamically reproduces the necessary components needed to maintain an interconnected network of devices with minimal human intervention. This model facilitates the process of replacing IoT devices using a variety of production machinery, such as PCB printers and 3D printers, to produce the components for an IoT device. The agents of the IIPA model handle the assembly and installation of these devices. The model was validated through a proof-of-concept prototype, demonstrating the feasibility of the implementation. The candidate has presented and published his work in an international peer-reviewed conference.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Computer Science on Hendrik Johannes Carl van der Westhuizen.
One of my favorite moments of any graduation ceremony at UJ is that lull just before the audience realize what song is playing. And then suddenly there's realization. And everybody's standing and everybody's singing and everybody's celebrating. And that's amazing. Chancellor, I have the immense pleasure and honor this evening to read the laudation of our honorary doctorate candidate, Professor Alfred Zakhele Mzuzane. Alfred Zakhele Mzuzane was born in Springs, now part of Ekurhuleni, in 1938. He earned his BSc and BSc Honours degree from Fort Hare and UNISA. A World University Service Scholarship then took him to Canada, where he completed his MEC at the University of Saskatchewan. He returned to South Africa to begin his doctoral studies at Wits University. However, the challenging political climate of the time led him to return to Canada, where he completed his PhD in physics at the University of Western Ontario in 1973. After immigrating to the United States, he became a professor at Morehouse College and later served as the head of the physics department at Atlanta University. He founded the Center for Theoretical Studies of Physical Systems at Clark Atlanta University, supported by grants from the U.S. National Science Foundation. In recognition of his academic and scientific contributions, including his efforts to advance U.S. minority groups in STEM fields, the American Physical Society awarded him the prestigious 1999 Edward A. Boucher Award. Among other honors, he has been named a Fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry in London, the American Physical Society, the Institute of Physics also in London, and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. He also received an honorary doctorate of science degree from the University of Fort Hare in 1998. His prolific research has resulted in over 480 publications. I know. I almost want to say throughout, can we give him a round of applause? Can we give him, but then, but I feel as if every sentence deserves a round of applause. His prolific research has resulted in over 480 publications, making significant contributions across various physics fields. Additionally, Alfred has secured millions from the USA's National Science Foundation, enabling research and conferences that aim to develop human resources throughout Africa, from Cape to Cairo. You can give him a round of applause. Chancellor, I have immense honor to request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy honoris causa on Alfred Zakhele Mzuzane.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy honoris causa on Alfred Zakhele Mzuzane.
Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, dear Executive Dean, faculty, students, visitors, and relatives, I'm humbled. The song here makes me want to come back. But my grandmother sent me to school never to stop studying. Before I'll say a few words. I'm not a preacher. Now, I have decided, listening and watching here, that the sin of ingratitude is perhaps the greatest. So, I'm very grateful to the university, the faculty, the council, for providing an environment where many of you can be educated. I'm very proud of you. I want to make it clear also to the institution that the faculty of a university have the greatest asset they have. Without the faculty, the students would not come. Now I've seen the faculty, I've seen the products. It means the faculty and the students resonate. In the business of training, you can have very good faculty, but if the students are not responsive, it means you are not doing the right thing. It means you have to fine-tune your mixture. Those who are chemists, they know what it is. The mixture has to be right so that you get a resonance, you get maximum results. I'll say a few words. Now, you have heard all these labels people parade here. What is interesting though, I could say to some of you, let's go to my grandmother. My grandmother never went to school. You introduced me as Dr. Alfred Mseza. What do you think my grandmother would say? Of course, many of you wouldn't have the answer. The answer is simple. My grandmother would say, Dr. Mseza, there's this pain that has been bothering me for years. Do you think you can fix it? What do I say? I'm embarrassed because I'm not trained in that direction. So we need to be careful at times about parading these labels when we cannot live to the standards. Even it embarrasses me. Sometimes, now let me continue first. So I was talking to you about my grandmother. My late wife was the principal of a Catholic school in Atlanta. There were nuns, you know what nuns are. Among those, there was Sister Rose. She was interested in astrophysics. She had a class of 7 years kids. So sometimes she would sneak me in. And so one day I was coming out of that class. This mother coming with the 7-year-old said, so and so, meet Dr. Mseza, the physicist. Big mistake. The kid says, I know him very well, Mommy. He doesn't know as much as you do. He's always asking me for the answers. And you are always giving me the answers. I thought that was one of the best compliments for me. You know what I would do with the kids? I ask questions. Try that. They flood you with answers. I don't tell them whether the answers are right or correct. What I do, I'm interested in listening, in seeing the process of thinking. Now I'll go back to my grandmother. Some of you know where Warden is, where the N3 goes through now. My grandmother lived on a farm there. At the age of about 4, I was lonely to my grandmother. My grandmother was dire poor. When I arrived at my grandmother, what's interesting, you know, when I tell you these stories, you find that if you listen carefully, that's how we do physics. In my grandmother's place, every creature had a job to do. The dogs took care of the cattle. They also protected us from predators. The cats took care of the mice. The babies, in other words, if you are 2 or 3, you can walk, you follow the chickens. When they lay the eggs, you collect the eggs. My grandmother would exchange them, and we get coffee and sugar. My grandmother and I, every morning, we would make coffee and put lots of sugar. I still do that. In the morning, the lots of sugar fires me up. I don't care what you say. That's what. So I don't eat breakfast. So that's what we do. But let me tell you, there's an interesting situation. Since my grandmother never went to school, in a nice evening, she would she says, look at those fierce-looking mountains, the Draken's mountains, rugged, fierce-looking. Beyond those mountains, across those rivers, there's a tribe, a great tribe. It knows all the secrets of war. It has also powerful weapons. She says, one day you will go there and bring the weapons and will defeat enemies. Guess what's the tribe? The Americans. What are the enemies? Hunger and diseases. What are the weapons? Scientific knowledge. Now, she didn't stop there. She says, I understand there are also beautiful women, smart women. You bring me one of them. Guess what? I brought one of those women. This woman took me, never come back again. So sometimes you have to be careful about what you ask for. Now, the last part of my little stories, now back to the Free State. I had developed very good skills in shepherding. At 7, I couldn't read or write, but I could count in 4s, 5s, 6s. That's how we count sheep. If you have ever seen sheep, they jump, and that's all what I could do. My dad discovered that I was no longer going to school. He recalled me, and I lost my freedom. I loved being a shepherd. So when I came back to my parents' place, my grandmother was always there taking care of me. My mom said, on your knees, clean the kitchen floor. You know, some of you don't know how to clean floors too. So while I was standing wondering how you clean a floor, you know, at my grandmother's place, we take a broom and sweep the dirt. We're finished. So my mom perceived that as being rebellious. There and there she said, you will go to school till you drop dead. So that was my sentence. And I was just thinking as how do I clean a floor? I didn't know how to do that. So her idea of being tame was the great Mr. Tlakula. Tlakula was the local school principal. He respected everyone, as my grade 4 teacher used to say, even those who never entered the walls of a classroom. So it continued. I never missed school. At 9, a kid on a Friday rolled to me a solid steel ball. I was hurt. When I arrived home, my mom looking at my foot and thinking about Monday that I would miss school, she spanked me for stupidity. My grandmother was very skilled. With a concoction, she was on the foot. Monday, I was ready to go to school, walking 3 to 4 miles. Now, I forgot to tell you one important thing. In my mother's house, my grandmother and my mom were like the CEO of a company. They ran everything, whether you liked it or not. My dad was like a CEO, was like the president of a company. You only went to him if you have a serious problem. That Wednesday, an opportunity presented itself to me. I said, we would discuss anything with my father except going to school because he didn't know much about school. I said, Dad, how about us trading my mom for a better mother? A mother who would allow us to skip school, a mother who would allow us to stay away from home, sometimes skip school on a Monday. My dad put down what he was doing. He listened carefully. After I finished, he said, son, this is a serious problem. Here we are deliberating on my wife. You don't have a wife to compare notes with. He said, why don't you wait till you have your own wife? Maybe we're on comparing notes, we might decide to trade your wife instead of mine. Perfect answer to me, I was happy. I never brought the issue again. Now, you realize as you grow up, anger leaks out. You realize how great a mother is. Over the years, I have thought, I'll write a book titled, How Far Must I Go? In What Time? A tribute to a wonderful mother. You know, then I hear the answer. Go back to school. You are not tame yet because you are still asking questions. Now, to finish this, I will just give you a sense about physics. All of us here live in a deformable environment. Deformable, it means if I go, the medium gives. Sometimes the medium stiffens. It frustrates you. It might protect you from landing into the jaws of a lion or the hoofs of a zebra. Sometimes this medium opens another channel which you go. Sometimes just it gives you a sense of maybe let me reorientate my thinking and then redefine my direction. I might find the way out of this way. I give you an example. When I was with my grandmother, the medium was fine. It stiffened. I was recalled back home. To me, it was the end of the world, but it opened again. I went to Forte, got a master's. Now at that point, the medium stiffened again because the minister of the day said to me, I couldn't do any engineering in Cape Town because I would learn to make bombs, destroy myself and his innocent people. I couldn't go to England because I would learn the bad habits of not listening to my superiors. But this channel to Canada opened. I got a scholarship to go to Canada. I got there, I brought an MSc. The minister said, no, this is not the right thing, what you're supposed to get. I'll make you an inspector of schools. I told him, I'm not qualified. I'm not an inspector. I can't be an inspector of school. I'm a physicist by training. So at that time, there were problems. I was at the Woods. There's the Woodsman. studying there, but things became difficult. The medium again started compressing. I left for Canada. I got a PhD, went to the States. There I learned how to do research and publish in the best journals. That's where in other words, these rigid walls, as those who do physics understand, they became smaller. The medium now, I can go anywhere without any barriers. Now, to finish up, I recommend that many of you hang around grandmothers and 7-year-old girls. They still like to push me around because they realize that I never went to kindergarten. So in kindergarten, you learn to pretend, isn't it? Since I was a shepherd, my flock was real. Physics is real. So I recommend you don't run away from them. Finally, I wish all of you, the graduates, as you propagate in this deformable medium, you succeed. You know, it'll deform, tighten, and you go forward. Me, meantime, I'll continue going to school as my grandmother decreed. Thank you for your attention.
Professor Dr. Alfred Msizane. Let's give him a warm round of an applause, ladies and gentlemen. Prof, your grandmother encouraged you to bring a makoti from overseas. My uncle in 2003, when I sat down with him, telling him that I got a job in Europe, he said to me, son, you are going to work in Europe? I said, yes, uncle. He said, in Munich? Yes, uncle. Munich in Germany? Yes, uncle. He said, son, you listen and listen good. I'm not going to tell this to you again. You see, should you get married there, women in Europe, when you die, they burn your body, they put your ashes in a jar and throw your ashes in the bushes. So I never dared bring my makoti. I saw some of you a little bit surprised to see me dancing earlier. I mean, this song, many of us, know it very well. A graduation is not a graduation without this song. And I suspect many of you are still wondering, what is this song all about? So for the benefit of those who may not understand, in English, basically, the song says, and this is a direct translation, it says, Father, buy me Seana Marena. That is the chief's blanket, the blanket of education, Seana Marena. I also want it, Seana Marena. I want to wear it, Seana Marena. I'm afraid of people's criticisms that never end, Seana Marena. I say they must get their own blankets of education because it's not easy to get these blankets. In Afrikaans, the words are, Vader, koop vir my, Seana Marena, die hoofman se kombers, die kleed van opvoeding, Seana Marena. Ek wil dit ook hê, Seana Marena. Ek wil dit dra, Seana Marena. Ek is bang vir die mense se kritiek wat nooit eindig nie, Seana Marena. So you know what this song is all about. Taten tekele, taten tekele, taten tekele. My predecessor, and I'm not gossiping, Professor Chilitsi Marwala, say I can't sing. Now, we have proven him wrong. I will WhatsApp him in Japan to watch this, because this is recorded. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close today's graduation ceremony, I know what a privilege it is to address you in the functionary role of Chancellor. It has been a wonderful experience to witness our students graduate and to celebrate your achievements with you and your loved ones here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm round of an applause. Ladies and gentlemen, it has already been stated that this was not an easy journey for you, but you did it. You are here today because of your commitment and your hard work, but also because of the support of the people who kept you going. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, and your community have all invariably contributed towards towards your success. Apologies. Let's give these people a warm round of an applause. Before you congratulate yourselves, like this rapper who said, I want to thank myself, please remember there are men and women who supported you throughout this difficult journey. To graduate, ladies and gentlemen, is a decisive milestone that sets one on a trajectory of empowerment. I must emphasize the Vice Chancellor's words. This is indeed an impressive achievement. The grim truth, ladies and gentlemen, is that many facets of our population are not afforded such opportunities. A 2021 report by the Department of Higher Education and Training indicates that just 6% of the South African population holds a degree. In our vast population, many do not make it into high school, ladies and gentlemen, let alone matric, while less than 70% of students who obtain a matric exemption enroll at a university. At the University of Johannesburg, we received more than 700,000 applications for only 10,900 spaces for new students. A similar picture is true for all South African universities. Although we are living through uncertain times and witnessing the world around us changing, we know that we have prepared you to navigate this terrain and that you have a solid foundation upon which to build your future. Now, we taught you well, and we know how it is out there. Please don't pick these bad habits out there, where people, instead of saving, they decide to enrich themselves. Where people, instead of saving, they steal from the poor. We taught you well. Please do not join this group of people who enrich themselves at the expense of the marginalized amongst us. We don't want to see you in the news that you stole from the poor. We don't want to see you in the news that you stole and there's no service delivery because of you. We taught you well. Go out there and show others the right way of doing things, leading with integrity. We hope that you will use the knowledge acquired here to contribute to solving societal problems and to pay it forward. When we consider what the University of Johannesburg has achieved in only 20 years as a higher education institution, as the new kid on the block, ladies and gentlemen, I know that as graduates of this inspiring university, you will similarly go on to achieve significant milestones in your careers and in your lives. We look forward to seeing you grow professionally, intellectually, ethically, and as committed and respected global citizens. I wish to thank our academic and support staff for the pivotal role they have played in your journey. Let's give them a warm round of an applause, ladies and gentlemen. Without their perseverance and commitment, you would not be here today. Once again, congratulations on this tremendous achievement. Go out there and set an example as a graduate of this inspiring university. As I say, the great University of Johannesburg. Be our best ambassadors and spread the word that UJ is an excellent place of learning. And we're not joking when we say that. You heard from the Vice Chancellor functionary. You heard from the Dean, and there's a lot more that you can learn about this great institution. Remember to stay in touch by joining our alumni. We hope to see you again when furthering your studies and as active alumni. UJ is 20. Please join us. We say we celebrate each and every day. Please continue to spread the word that this new kid on the block is really going places. I thank you. Ke a leboga. Baya danki nyabonga. Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem. You know the words. You should know the words. Otherwise, those who scan the program, then the words are at the back of the program. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now dissolve this congregation of the University of Johannesburg. Ile ge ke hlompha matla a ho ke filwe ho ona, bjale ke phatlalatsa phutheo ye ya University ya Johannesburg. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing at your seats until the procession has left the venue. I wish you a pleasant evening, and those that are going to celebrate, please celebrate responsibly. Thank you.
Ulindlela emamkhokoza, yewunyana